Solutions. It's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host, Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author of the book Change Your Own Your Past, Change Your Future. And the new book was What's on My Mind. Man, this book is absolutely going crazy. It comes out 1 week from now. Building a Non-Anxious Life. 1 week it's going to be out. And that's why I got John on here for this first segment, because this book is setting all kinds of publishing records at Ramsey and sales. It's doing really good. Apparently, there's some anxious folk out there.
Yeah, can I tell you the coolest thing that's happened so far? The numbers are amazing and they're fun. No doubt about it. Making money's great, and helping this many people saying, "Hey, I want to
helping that number of people is what's important." Yeah.
What's been really amazing, Dave, is as a part of any book sale, you send out galley copies, which are just for the press, right? Mm-hmm. And you know that. And I'm doing these interviews, podcast, radio interviews from people all over the place. And we're getting done with the podcast and they're saying, "Hey, you got a second? I read this book and my wife and I sat down and had a hard conversation last night." Or I just pre-ordered 3 of these books for my family members. And so the folks who are getting the early drafts of these things.
Yeah, they're not being a broadcaster, they're being a person.
They're turning, it's
into a human.
Really powerful.
If you turn media people into humans, this is a magical book.
So yeah, I'm getting excited to get it out there, man.
Yeah, that's cool. Anxiety is not the problem.
Right.
It's the symptom. It's the fire alarm going off that says something's broken.
Right.
And so you talk about the 6 choices in your daily choices in the book that we can make to, build a solid foundation in our life. So when something scary comes at us, we can be prepared instead of overwhelmed with anxiety.
Right. And most people say, where do I start? Where do I start? Where do I start? We've all heard of the phrase, the attention economy. I think that is a scandalously positive spin on what I like to call the distraction economy, or the look over here economy. And so we've been trained for the last 25 to 50 years. If you've got a problem, it's somebody else's fault. Buy this, scroll this, run over here, look over here, numb out, Netflix it away, instead of getting to the root problem. And the challenge with that is your body knows.
Yeah.
Your body knows. It doesn't matter how nice your cars are. Your body knows you're probably about to get fired. It doesn't matter how many dates you've been on. Your body knows my marriage is falling apart. And so you have to start by choosing reality. And that's just step 1, right? What is the actual state of your health? When's the last time you got a blood test? When's the last time you sat with a doctor and said, "I'm not feeling great"? How overweight are you? When's the last time you sat with your wife or your husband across the table and said, "We're not all right"? Or when your kid walks in their house and they just immediately beeline into the room and they slam their door and you just go, "Oh, it's those teenagers." Your body knows that's not right. That's not right. And so you have to own reality, choose reality. That's step 1, right? And there's 6 of those choices, and we pull them apart in the book and just say, "Hey man, here's the problem, and here's how to fix it."
The good news is if you order it in the last week here before it actually comes out, for $20 you get $75 worth of free bonus items, including instant access to Dr. John's talk, Smoke, Fire, and Freedom, which he did the other day in Chicago at the SMART conference. It was a big hit. The ebook of Building a Non-Anxious Life and the audio book of Building a Non-Anxious Life will also be delivered to you next week when the book comes out. All of that for just $20. Next 1 week or 1 week and 1 hour later, you won't be able to get those deals. As soon as Tuesday the 3rd gets here, that's all gone. It's just the book is for sale at that point. And so, hey, we want to help you guys out. This is an important subject, and this is a fabulous treatment of an important subject. Go to RamseySolutions.com. Hit the bookstore, get the $20 book, Building a Non-Anxious Life, this week while you still can with all of the add-ons. It's a great deal. And, we're real careful at Ramsey. We have a high percentage, like 100% of our books are on the bestseller list. We're not a publishing outfit that just prints stuff and hopes something works out. We're very, very selective, very careful, and we beat the snot out of these manuscripts, these authors, the marketing plans, the whole thing to make sure that We're actually serving you guys. That way, when we bring you the next book, you know it's also going to be good. And it's not we're just throwing crap out there to see if you guys will get a shovel or not. And
I was going to say, I've defended 2 dissertations, and I'd rather do that, a third one, than sit in front of you guys and defend my manuscript again, y'all. I mean, it's
yeah.
go through the fine-tooth comb.
We believe to be unclear is to be unkind.
Y'all are very
so
clear.
We're very kind.
Very clear.
We're very kind.
I think you're wrong, Deloney. No, I love it, man.
This
iron
really,
sharpens
this
iron,
really
man.
sucks. You need to get to the point.
That's
here.
right. Iron sharpens iron. Wow. Could you have said this in 1 page instead of 114? But yeah, man, it's a refinement process. But you end up with a book that's clean and very clear and direct, which is the opposite of most of the publishing industry.
And helpful. And, we're not just throwing stuff out there on paper to see if it'll work. Paper's too dadgum expensive to do that. So RamseySolutions.com/store. You can hit the bookstore there, the store with all of our stuff in it, and pre-order this new book, Building a Non-Anxious Life. You got 1 week to do it and get all of the goodies. So your hope for this when someone reads it is what?
My hope is someone who reads this, the first thing they do is they feel not alone. And I think most of us are spinning out in our own minds, in our own cars, in behind our own headphones, thinking we're the only ones feeling like this, that our marriages are the only ones like this. So I want people to read this book and not feel alone. And I want to provide a picture. I tell a lot of stories from calls I've had and my own personal life. Oh, dude, I'm not the only one. And the second one is I want people to have a roadmap just to do something different. Their parents did the best they could. They just had a limited amount of tools in their toolkit. The culture's telling them a completely disastrous other thing to do. This is a roadmap to build a life that, quite frankly, you deserve it. You deserve to have peace in your life because, man, life's hard. Life's hard. And so on those moments that when life's not just slapping you around, and it's a map, it's a guide, it's a roadmap.
Now, I think you might actually discover that your Facebook friends aren't real friends.
Right, exactly. Or you might discover
which might be a revelation for some of you.
That
I don't
your
know.
Facebook friends would actually meet with you for coffee or for a drink or for some nachos if you'd actually just say, hey, date and time, here's where I'm going to be. Maybe. Or maybe not. Maybe you'd realize, oh, they're not for real.
No.
I need to do something different. You might realize my marriage is better than I thought it was. And while things are good, we can start planning for the next stage is coming.
If you think they're really good friends, let's just have a COVID thing and see if they show up.
Exactly. Yes.
You'll find out who's real real fast.
Real fast. That's right.
All right. Building a Non-Anxious Life. Dr. John Deloney at Ramsey.
1 week to go, guys. Go get it.
At RamseySolutions.com. Don't miss out. Thanks, John. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, if you're in over your head with student loans and tired of getting calls from collection agencies, if private student loan debt is taking away your financial peace and you don't see any way out, you need Y Refi. They're not a debt settlement company and they're not connected to a bank. Y Refi refinances defaulted private student loans that other places won't touch and gives you a custom loan built for you based on your ability to pay. So when you refinance your private student loan debt with Y Refi, you'll have a payment you can afford with a low fixed interest rate you couldn't get anywhere else to help you stick to your budget and work the debt snowball. And you can save thousands of dollars. To learn more about this custom refinancing option and a lump sum payoff option you could qualify for after 24 months, call 844-2-RAMSEY or go to yrefi.com/Ramsey. Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. We're glad you're here, America. Thank you for joining us. Sarah is in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hi, Sarah. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I have a two-part question. The first part of my question is, at what baby step do I figure out if I get term life insurance? I'm a single mom to two daughters. And then the second part of that question is if it's worth it to me, just based on the fact that the other parent, my daughter's father and I are no longer together, and there's a history of domestic violence. So I don't necessarily trust what will be done with life insurance, and my parents don't live in the country. So I'm just wondering if that's a viable option for me and what baby step I would incorporate that to.
Okay. It's not a baby step. It's a now.
Sorry.
It does not go in a baby step. Okay. The life insurance is a purchase out of your budget immediately. What baby step do you put car gasoline in? Not a baby step. You put it in your budget. You need car gasoline to run your car. You need to take care of your children if something happens to you. And so life insurance is an immediate purchase for you. And so who is going to take care of the children if you were to pass away?
Their father.
I thought he had domestic violence issues.
Yeah, he still has custody due to the fact that the domestic violence is against me and not my children. So
that's encouraging. It was just you.
Yeah.
I feel so much better.
It was just me. Yeah.
That's sarcastic.
They did supervise
Oh, my gosh.
visitation for 2 months, and then they deemed him fit. So in the event that I passed, unfortunately, they would go to him. And as someone who has filed bankruptcy twice, I don't trust what he will do with that money.
No, he doesn't get the money. He gets the kids.
Right.
Okay.
So there is, if I were to go and speak to someone, there is a way to
you would have the beneficiary of your life insurance be a trust, and the trust would be managed by a trustee, which is someone you select that you trust with money and to do your wishes. And the trust would say something like, the children can have the income off of the investment. What do you make a year?
About $48,000.
Okay, so if you had a $500,000 policy and you instructed the trust to invest that in mutual funds and it made $50,000 a year, that would replace the income that you've created. You probably don't need that much because hypothetically this guy's actually going to feed these children anyway. So, but, let's just say that you did $48,000. Okay, so $4,000 a month. If it made $4,000 a month, you could distribute that to him as child support, and he gets a monthly income to take care of the children for the good of the children, as long as he is taking care of the children. The money goes where the kids are. So if the kids get the state comes and takes them because he commits domestic violence on them, then the money would just be you would instruct the trust to keep the money and build it up for when they're an adult.
Okay, that makes sense.
But you don't give him $50,000 or $500,000.
Correct, yeah.
You give him monthly income to help feed the children because he's not capable of even managing his own money, so we need to send some money over there for food. What a disaster. This is not This is not fun for me. I don't love the idea of the kids going over there, and I really don't love the idea of the kids going over there with money, but I would rather them go over there with money than without money.
Yeah, it's not been a fun 4 years for sure.
Yeah.
So, if God forbid something were to happen, I just
How old are the children?
They're 5 and 7. They're pretty young.
Yeah.
Obviously that's my concern, and my parents don't live in the United States. So I wouldn't be able to make them like a executor or power.
They can be a trustee. They don't have to be a U.S. citizen to be a trustee. They could be in charge of the money.
Okay.
They could be in charge of the money. Yeah, you could leave them as the trustee.
It could be someone who does not live in the country necessarily. That was my other concern was
doesn't matter.
They're not a U.S. citizen. Okay.
They don't have to be. Perfect. They're managing money on behalf of a trust, not on behalf of themselves. Mm-hmm. So, if you go to mamabearlegalforms.com, you can get what's called a family trust form and get a will. and the will says that the money is going to, and then buy a life insurance policy from Zander Insurance and make the beneficiary of the life insurance, meaning where the money goes upon your death, the name of that trust, the Sarah Trust, I'll call it, okay? And it's there, the big chunk of money, whether it's $400,000 is about all it needs to be here, goes into that, and then instruct your parents to invest the money as the trustees and to disperse a certain amount of money per month to him as child support.
Okay.
And if he no
That
longer
makes
is
a lot of
managing
sense.
the children, the trust no longer sends the money to him.
Okay.
So if he were to, well, I guess this is hypothetical. We don't know. Okay. So, I mean, would your parents take the children if they could?
If they could, they would. Obviously, being from a different country, myself included, it's a bit trickier. I've entertained the idea of moving back home, but he would not allow it. But I think in a hypothetical where his back was in a corner, and my parents would be willing to take them.
Yeah, so I mean, I want to stipulate a bunch of things there that as long as if they end up taking care of the children, because the state takes the kids from him at some point, then they would also be receiving the money from this trust. I want to make sure these kids are taken care of. That's all we're doing here. Okay? So the purpose of life insurance is to replace the care through money that you give your family. And so if a guy's making, $100,000 a year and his family is eating out of that, he needs $1 million in life insurance, because $1 million invested at making 10% would be $100,000 a year. We've replaced that guy if he dies. We replace the income that he's creating. We replace the guy, but we replace the income that he's creating that sets him up to be able to win, or sets the kids to be able, the family that's remaining up to be able to win financially, and not make more money than they would have made with him here, but at least replace what he was doing. In your case, Sarah, what she was doing. Replace what you are doing to care for these children income-wise, because your ex is obviously not responsible enough to send you money over there, so you're taking care of these kids. He's not responsible enough with money. He's not responsible enough with his own emotions. This is just not a good guy. There's nothing in this story that sounded exciting to me for him. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry you're facing all that. But Mama Bear Legal Forms, get your will and trust in place. Zander Insurance, get $400,000 in life insurance. It's not very expensive. It's about the cost of a pizza. And you can make that fit in your budget, especially as you get out of debt and start to have more and more margin. So God bless you, honey. Sorry what y'all have been through over there. Open phones here at 888-825-5225. Some of the most courageous people in the world are those that are the other side of a domestic violence situation. And I'm an old redneck hillbilly. I don't even like the phrase domestic violence. It makes something extremely horrible and rage-inducing sound very lame. It's not lame at all. It changes family trees. It changes it puts a curse on a family that is unbelievable, that can only be broken by the power of God. I mean, it is a nasty mess when somebody's engaging in that stuff. And sadly, in the world we're in, we get to see it fairly often. And it I'm just an old redneck. It just pisses me off. It's that simple. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey folks, Dr. John Deloney here with some great news. You get to choose. Whatever you do, good or bad moving forward, the choice is yours. And when you're intentional about making good choices over time, they become healthy habits, like choosing to slow down and make time for a daily practice of prayer and meditation. One thing that has helped me with the daily practice of meditation and prayer is Hallow. Hallow is the #1 prayer app in the world, and they're giving you 3 months free to get started. That's 3 months free to prioritize your mental health and be intentional about finding peace through calming music, prayers, meditation, and more. And Hallow isn't just Catholic. You can tailor the content towards your faith tradition. If you don't have a faith tradition, this is a great place to learn more about it. From scripture readings and prayers to journaling, Hallow makes it easy to practice mindfulness, build a deeper, more meaningful spiritual life, and choose peace. Remember, Hallow is giving you 90 days free. Imagine the peaceful habits you can establish in 90 days. Go to hallow.com/Ramsey today and follow the simple prompts to start your free 90-day trial. That's hallow.com/Ramsey.
Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us, America. Open phones at 888-825-5225. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Charlie and Katie are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hey, we're doing well, thanks.
Better than we deserve.
I hear you. Welcome, guys. Where do y'all live?
We live in Chandler, Arizona, which is a suburb of Phoenix.
Absolutely. Good to have y'all. Welcome to Nashville. So you're KTSA listeners, maybe? No?
No.
You didn't listen to us on the radio there? Okay, because that's one of our biggest
We
radio
just watched
stations.
on YouTube.
Yeah, also YouTube.
YouTubers. All right, that'll go. Well, YouTubers will like Ken's sweater today.
Yes,
And
thank
so
you.
so does Baskin Robbins. And so
Oh, Dave with the jokes. This is going to be good. It's going to be a good show
be a
today.
good day.
Yes,
It's going to be fun. I can just tell. All right, guys. How much debt did you pay off?
We paid off $335,000.
$330. Wow. How long did this take?
60 months.
Wow. And your range of income during that 5 years?
Started at $200,000 and ended at $292,000.
Whoa. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm a registered nurse.
I guess you are. All right.
And I'm a financial advisor.
Of course you are. That's perfect. What a great combination. 2 great careers, obviously doing very well at them. $335,000. Did you pay off your house?
We did.
Uh-oh.
You're weird
did.
people. I love it. I love it. Very cool. So what's this house worth?
It's about $800,000.
Of course it is. And Mr. Financial Advisor, how much is in your investments?
About $900,000 with about $50,000 in precious metals and cryptocurrency.
I love it. So here we go. Other than $50,000, you've been really smart. Well done. Great job, guys. I love it, man. So $1.7 million, right? Yeah, net worth. And how old are you guys?
I'm 49.
I'm 52.
And you did this by 50 years old. Wow, look at you. I'm so proud of y'all. Way to go. That's so fun. Okay, tell us what happened. What started this journey with paying off the house thing 5 years ago?
Yeah, so Dave, our journey really started back in 2012. After about 10 years of marriage, unfortunately, we found ourselves in the middle of a divorce.
Uh-oh.
And, yep. And as you can imagine, that's a pretty difficult thing to go through.
You too?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and at that point, a good friend of mine had recommended a ministry that you may be familiar with called Divorce Care.
Absolutely.
And I went through Divorce Care, and they teach you about things like how to deal with anger and loneliness and depression and all of the fun things that go with the train wreck called divorce. And as a part of that, you're in one of the segments, actually.
Yeah.
In one of the versions for Financial Peace, talking about things like how to stay out of credit card debt and use a budget wisely and things of that sort. So the program was exceptionally helpful for me. It really softened my heart, and so much so that even though we were divorced and not living together at the time and whatnot, I mentioned the program to Kate, and she attended, 3 or 4 months later. So, and at that point, we, after 2 years of being fully divorced, we got to sitting around and talking one day that, how did we end up in this situation? What happened to us? And what if we had gotten a second chance? And part of divorce care and the wonderful part of that ministry, which we have now been a part of for the last 7 years, is reconciliation. Mm-hmm. And by the grace of God and the power of Jesus Christ, we're able to reconcile and restore our marriage after 3 years of being divorced. And so that's just been a real blessing for us. One of the non-negotiables for us when we got back together was we never wanted to end up in this situation again. So getting our finances in order was certainly going to be a cornerstone of that process. So we attended Financial Peace University back in 2016 or 17.
As part of the reconciliation process.
Correct.
To get on the same page.
Correct.
Which is what reconcile means. Yeah?
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Wow. Look at you guys. Whoa, what a journey. So going into the original divorce, what percentage of the marriage problems were money problems? Money fights?
Good percentage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we were pretty normal.
It's the number one cause of divorce.
It certainly didn't help anything. We made a lot of mistakes along the way. We bought a rental property with a HELOC. We, used to take trips and spend, wildly with credit cards and things of that sort. And while I would say that the money issues were not the primary cause of divorce, they certainly did not help. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah, put extra stress on top of stress. Yeah.
Correct.
Right.
And coming together gave you a common language as a part of the whole reconciliation process.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a great story. I love you guys. You're amazing. What a fabulous life you've built. Oh, man. And a healed life. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Healed life.
There's a lot of healing that goes. This is a wholeness. This is not somebody that tripped backwards into this. You walked headlong into it.
Yes, sir. And it's been a while now. So we got divorced in 2012 and we reconciled at the end of 2014, almost 3 years later. So we've been together since. So we're coming up on 9 years.
9 years remarried.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. And how long were you married prior to that?
Almost 10.
9.5.
Okay, so 9 on each side so far. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good deal. Wow. And your kiddos are with you. What are their ages?
Pierce, our oldest, is 16, and Nina, our youngest, is 14.
Okay, so they were around through every bit of this.
Yes.
They experienced both sides and the middle.
They did.
They did.
Yeah. Wow.
They did.
What a thing you've done for your family tree. Not counting the money even, but just the whole thing, the healing. This is impressive.
Yeah, it's. I'm really struck, by the emotion, and that has to be so rewarding to be standing here today at the finish line, knowing that you guys did what very few people will do, which is actually try to reconcile, much less actually do it. I'm curious, what did the FPU getting on the same page with money, and when you guys finally got back together, how did that affect your communication in other areas of your marriage now that you're coming back and going, we're giving this another shot?
It definitely made it much better. We were more focused. We had a common goal moving forward, and that kind of bound us together and everything moving forward.
Rowdy. Love it.
Yeah, I would say it definitely improved our communication. So I like what you said in the divorce care video about when you start off with a budget, you're going to be terrible at it the first month, and then get a little bit better month 2, a little bit better month 3, and that certainly was us. And we met on a weekly basis. I'm the nerd of the the financial advisor of the family. So those meetings used to last an hour and a half, then an hour, then 45 minutes, so on and so forth. Now we can do a budget meeting about a minute, 2 minutes, something like that. So, but it really did help to improve our communication. And I would say that when we were apart, or before we were apart the first time we were married, we had separate bank accounts. We had one joint account for dual bills and so forth, but then we both had separate banking accounts. But combining everything now has just really helped us out tremendously.
Yeah. And just throwing grenades into the other account all the time.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
What are you doing over there?
I'm curious to know, did this debt-free journey have a tangible effect on you all making more money?
I think without a doubt. I think we didn't have peace in a lot of ways prior to getting divorced. And now I would say that, we certainly don't fight about money. We don't fight about, anything like that anymore. So
Yeah, no, we're on it's a different level of communication and understanding and relationship indeed.
Yeah, it's a whole different set of people. Yeah. Be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You guys are impressive. I love it. Fabulous. Wow, what a fabulous story. All right, bring the kiddos up. They need to be in the debt-free scream. They got to be enjoying this, the end result of this journey anyway. So excellent work. Hey, we've got the Live and Give box for you, the Baby Steps Millionaires book, the Total Money Makeover book, the Financial Peace University, and you can give that to somebody because I'm sure you're constantly ministering to others now. You can't keep yourself with that journey from doing it. So I'm so proud of y'all. Thank you for sharing an amazingly inspiring story.
Thanks.
It's just your heroes, man. I mean, you faced some real demons. You really faced them down and run them out with a stick, man.
Yes, sir.
That's just, that's beautiful. Just very, very impressive. Very well done. All right, it's Charlie and Katie, Pierce and Nina. They got out of debt, but that's only a part of the story. $335,000 paid off, house and everything. Baby Steps Millionaires, redeemed lives, 60 months, making $200 to $292. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt free!
They're free as so much. Oh, my goodness. Powerful. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, being free to make your own medical decisions is a big deal these days. Christian Healthcare Ministries gives members the freedom to choose the doctors and providers they want without the frustration of worrying about networks and with no waiting period to join. It's a membership-based nonprofit ministry where hundreds of thousands of Christians share funds to pay for and pray for each other's medical bills. For over 40 years, CHM has helped families living across all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Check out more today at chministries.org/budget.
Thanks for listening, America. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Matthew is with us in Fort Worth, Texas. Hi, Matthew. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
My father has retired and owns a small RV park, and he recently asked me to use my buying power to buy another property to mimic the RV park that he owns, but on a larger scale. So I've recently made an offer on a home and put earnest money down, but I'm just kind of rethinking the whole thing and just wanted to get your opinion on that. The home and property we are purchasing is listed at $295. We paid $295 for it.
The home is where the second RV park is going to be?
Yes.
Okay. I'm a little bit confused. He can't afford to buy another RV park, so he wants you to buy one for him?
Well, he knows that my buying power is capable of buying a bigger piece of land since he doesn't have a job anymore. He's retired. So he knows that as far as buying power, I can afford
Not buying power, borrowing power.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Borrowing power is bigger anyway, so we could get a bigger property and the investment overall would end up paying more.
Yeah, but that would be yours, not his.
Correct. So the terms he was going to say is he puts the initial infrastructure in to get it making money and paying for the mortgage of the property, and we would split any profits above the mortgage of the property 50-50.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Are you interested in doing this, or do you feel obligated to consider it because it's your dad?
I am interested. I think that the property is beautiful. I've frequently hung out at the RV park that they own, and it's a really nice lifestyle. really good people that you meet. You get plenty of opportunity to spread the word to lots of different people. And I think that the security that the cash flow brings in just brings the fact that if I broke my leg at work, I wouldn't, my children wouldn't starve.
So you're married?
Yes.
Okay. And what does your wife say about all this?
I'll be honest, she is willing to follow me into whatever I get us into. So I don't think she would voice it even if she disagreed with it. But so far, she seems like she's down to follow me wherever I go.
Yeah.
Well, if you break your leg at work, your kids aren't going to starve. And then your language, follow me into this, I think is a pretty good indicator of how you see this.
Right.
I don't think you think this is as good as idea as your dad does.
You see risk he doesn't see.
Yeah.
I see a payment that is a little higher than I can currently afford. It's not much higher than I can afford, but I think it is higher than I can afford. And unless my dad is willing to immediately come in and fork over the money and we get renters in there quick to where the cash flow is coming, I don't see a problem in it. But if we get out there and there's no renters, then we're in a big problem,
Yeah. And the infrastructure could be almost as expensive as the property, and your dad doesn't have any money.
Well, he does. He has enough to lay the infrastructure, and I'm a plumber, and we have electricians in the family, so we do the work ourselves. We've put in 4 RV spots in a weekend and then rented them the very next week for $450 a spot. So I have no doubt that for $35,000, $40,000, we could lay the infrastructure for 10 to 15 spots.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now you're in partners with your dad on a piece of property that your home is on, and also contains a business that you're in a partnership with your dad. He doesn't have the money to do all this, but he has the money to put up a little bit of money for some plumbing raw materials, and you guys dig your own ditches.
Right. He has the money to do the total infrastructure. I mean,
what is that?
Cash. I estimated about $40,000.
Yeah.
Is what the infrastructure will cost, and he has plenty to cover that.
Yeah, there's a rule in business. It takes twice as long, costs twice as much, and you're not the exception.
Right.
These are the 3 rules of business. Okay, so this has got about 6 different places that it can go wrong, and only one place it can go right. So it's really scaring me. Okay,
yeah.
Your dad is a salesman, and he sold you on this, and you're not opposed to the concept. If the piece of property was separate from your home, it would remove one of the 6 problems. But if this goes sideways, you got a bunch of half-baked RV crap in your backyard,
right,
of your home on a payment you can't afford. That's what happens if this goes sideways. If you're God forbid something happened to you or something happened to him, and you weren't able to complete this plan and manage this business, now the home where your children live is at risk. This is, yeah.
I see their working model, and they have a premium spots. They charge $700 to $750 for their spots. It's a really beautifully done. I have no doubt that slowly we could get to that point, but we could get spots in quickly that pay $450 a piece, and
or not. I mean, it might be that you have no appeal whatsoever, and no price will get them in there.
Yeah. Well, I've done some research in the area. Every park nearby is full. There are 2 major lakes right on either side of us, within 15 minutes on either side of us, and and it's a beautiful area. It's 4.5 acres.
Well, I will tell you the rules that I run my life with, and then you get to decide what you're going to do. Okay. Number 1, I don't do partnerships. The only ship that won't sail is a partnership, because of all the D's that can happen. The D's are default, disinterest, drug use, divorce, death, disability. And you got to think about what happens in every one of those cases with both of you. What happens if your dad gets disabled? What happens if you get disabled? What happens if he decides he doesn't want to screw with it anymore? What happens if he just decides he doesn't like you? What happens? What happens? All you've got is an entrance strategy. You have no exit plans whatsoever because your only assumption is that this is going to work, and that's not how business works. So you have to have so number one, I don't do partnerships. Number two, I don't borrow for business under any circumstances, and in a very real sense you are here. Number three, I don't combine where my children and my grandchildren and my puppy dog and my wife lives with my business property. Thereby, if the business goes bye-bye, my family's homeless. That's a violation too. So there's just a bunch of things here that you're willing to do that I'm not willing to do. And you called me, and so my job is not to be a dream killer. My job is to be a nightmare preventer. There's a difference in being a dream killer and a nightmare preventer. And there's a whole lot more can go wrong with this, Matthew, than go right. I mean, everything has to go exactly as planned for this to even work. And nothing ever goes exactly as planned. I couldn't do it because it violates about 4 different things I refused to do.
Mm-hmm. And there were 6 words that he said towards the end. It's more than I can afford. And that's where we humans, certainly Americans, is how we get into this debt, the student loan debt, the skyrocketing credit card debt. It's more than I can afford. That's the end of the sentence. Wait, get to a place that you can't afford. It's more than I can afford. The conversation should be over there. And we've got to, as adults, and I'm guilty of this, we've all done this, we want it, but we can't afford it. We got to go, if we can't afford it, it's done. You got to walk away. I can't afford it. Conversation over.
Yeah, it's hard though.
It is, absolutely.
You get caught up with the family dream here, and working together just sounds fun until it's not fun. So, Matthew, I've given you all the warnings. If you go forward anyway, at least address those and do it in a document that everybody signs. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey folks, Ken Coleman here. Did you know The Ramsey Show is one of the most popular podcasts in the world? Get your daily dose of advice on life and money. Check out all of our shows from the Ramsey Network wherever you listen to podcasts.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality and career and jobs expert, #1 best-selling author, host of The Ken Coleman Show, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. So, Ken, my PR team just sent me this. You're going to love this one.
Okay.
Car HP, written by a guy named Nathan Dyer. Mm-hmm. Expensive cars from finance personality Dave Ramsey's car collection.
Oh.
So, you're going to love the cars I own that I don't own. Not a single one of them on here. Not a single one of them on here I own.
Never seen those before.
Never seen these cars. This guy just makes up lies.
This is literally made up. I've seen your cars.
Yeah. This is so fun. Okay,
I would like for you to have a few of those.
Yellow Corvette here. Okay, yeah. There's a 1934 DeSoto.
That's my favorite.
I would take that.
I'd love to see you and Miss Sharon rolling around in the DeSoto coupe.
Yeah. Here's a Mustang. Oh, that's cool. A 1966 convertible Mustang.
I'd like that.
God, man, I wish I had that car.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I wish I was as cool as he thinks I am.
Of course.
1948 Chrysler Town and Country convertible with the wood paneling sides.
The wood panels.
Don't have that car either.
You and Sharon would drive that to the polo
1959 Jaguar XK.
Now that is
sweet. That screams Dave Ramsey. Mm-hmm. Only he doesn't have it.
You don't.
No, don't have it. You know, you'd think he'd actually get one of them that I own correct.
And you have a killer
like one. I've got some nice cars, but none of them made his list.
Wow.
So But Abraham Lincoln said everything on the internet's true.
He did.
So
he did.
That tells you what's going on.
Yes.
And man, I am much worse than I am in person if you read on the internet, and I'm much cooler on this guy's site than I am in person.
Is that a real site?
That's a real site. Yeah. It's got a car HP, and it's got famous people supposedly with their famous cars, and there's my little picture and the whole thing.
And you don't even look happy. He didn't even pick a happy picture, which if you own those cars, you'd be pretty...
I have a perpetual scowl.
Okay.
So it's fairly easy to catch my scowl.
That is completely made up. I can't even believe I'm looking at that.
That is complete... That's so fun. Gosh, if I wasn't me, I'd want to be me.
There it is. There it is. I should have somebody write up an article of all the fake cars I own.
Yeah.
That'd be great. I could really impress my parents.
Yeah, people,
and all my high school friends. Hey, look at all these fake cars I own.
I'm going to get calls from insurance people now.
I know you are.
That are wanting to insure this portfolio of vehicles that I do not own. This is so great.
That's really great.
Dude, if you would work as hard telling the truth and working as you do at lying, you could actually make a living.
It's really true. The creativity there.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time. He probably knows how to actually build a website and stuff, but instead spends his time being a fraud.
If I was going to come up with fake cars you owned, I would have thrown in a souped-up El Camino.
For me, because I'm a redneck,
that's
would make
what
sense.
I mean. A nod to the Antioch
The car
days.
that tried to be a truck and couldn't.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
he didn't
the car.
even try to go back to your roots.
Oh man.
At least he didn't accuse you of owning an electric vehicle.
There's not a single big.
Good call.
At least he didn't accuse you of owning an electric.
At least you don't own an electric car, an EV,
That would have been
Dave.
the complete fraud if any of them were electric. You're right. Oh, my gosh.
Great call out there.
Good call, James.
Yeah.
Open phones at 888-825.
Wow. Be careful what you read, folks.
I just wish I was as cool as old Nathan Dyer says I am. All right. Stephen is in Athens, Georgia. Hi, Stephen. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
How you doing today, Dave?
Great, man. How can we help?
Trying to figure out this situation that me and my wife have got ourselves into on how we're going to get out of this hole that we've created.
Okay.
So, little backstory, recently sold a home in Southern California. We made great money over there, about $200,000 on a whim. We just picked everything up and moved up to Athens, Georgia. In that, took quitting jobs that were well paid and moving to where not paid as well anymore for the work that's up here, and bought a home immediately over FaceTime. I would never recommend that again, but moved into the home. And
man, when you look up impulsive in the dictionary, your picture's there.
Yeah, about 42 days from visiting a friend to house being sold and being here, quitting jobs that we've had for 15 plus years.
Okay. All right.
So
California refugees in Athens, Georgia. Mm-hmm. All right.
Bought a home, and instantly that home needed a ton of money put into it that we were not expecting. And
FaceTime just didn't show that, huh? Okay.
No, sir. Nor did inspections.
Okay.
So dug ourselves into some credit card debt, and obviously the home, and then cars that now we no longer, I guess, can say afford, that we were able to afford in California.
No, you couldn't afford them because you didn't pay for them, but okay.
You're correct.
All right. So what do you owe on your cars?
Altogether about $72,000.
Okay. And break that down for me. Car number one.
Car number one, I think I owe about $50,000 on.
Okay. Car number two is $22,000.
Car number two is
if it's $72,000, then you have three cars. Okay.
Correct, three cars.
Okay.
One of them's about $20,000, and then the other one's just about paid off.
Okay. All right. And what is your household income now that you got new jobs?
About $110,000.
Okay. And how much is your new house payment?
$2,100.
And how much debt have you run up other than the cars?
About $27,000 in credit cards.
Okay. To do the repairs on the home, or just because you bought stuff?
Because we bought stuff and to do repairs on the home. Some of the money that we tried to use most of the money that we had left over after selling a home and purchasing a home, tried to keep a good nest egg, and that didn't work out. A lot of that money, liquid cash, had to go into the home right away.
So you got no money left?
No money in savings, no, sir.
Okay, all right. Well, you can't afford a $50,000 car. You need to sell it.
Okay.
Period. Even if it was paid for.
Understood.
You make 110. You don't need a $50,000 car when you make 110. Pretty simple. Okay, it's out of range. Now, unless you're going to see your income coming up dramatically in the next 12 months, you need to get rid of that car. You probably need to get rid of the $20,000 car too, and just get you a couple beaters to drive until you get this mess cleaned up. So what happens is we have to cut stuff until we get the budget back in balance because you're not in Congress, right?
Okay.
And so,
right.
you got a $110,000 top line, and we got to make the bottom numbers fit inside of that with a working budget. And that's going to mean selling at least one of those cars and getting a beater, get you a $5,000 car. And that's the moves I would make. We'll help you with the process. Hang on, I'll put you guys into Financial Peace University. It's our class to show you how to get right side up and how to become a millionaire later. But one of the things we're going to teach you is quit being so dad blame impulsive. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Visit Blinds.com to get up to 45% off. That's Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply. Thanks for joining us, America. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. George is in Sarasota, Florida. Hi, George. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hello, gentlemen. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So, moved with my family to Florida 2 years ago. Left my business in Washington State, and it's been there in Tacoma, Washington for about 5 years. And in the last couple of years, trying to, work remotely, managing the business, it was a struggle. We bought a piece of property here we're planning to build. And, a month ago, the business burned down basically completely.
Whoa.
And now I'm trying to figure out what to do next as far as maybe, we saved up about $120,000 plus the land is worth about $100,000. And we are thinking either to start something new, like the business that I was doing there, which is auto wrecking on the smaller scale, or for me to just get a job, being more stable, sell the land, and buy a house, which is what my wife wants us to do. And we have 3 little kids, 5, 3, and 8 months old.
I assume you had good insurance.
I had no insurance. Business was struggling, and it
so you just lost
expensive for me to pay. I lost it. Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
Some stuff survived. But I would say like 90% was lost.
Yeah. So what's the land worth? Because you own the real estate, right?
I did not own the real estate. It was my landlord had the insurance for the building.
Oh.
So, but the land I purchased here, we were planning to build on, is worth about $100,000, and we have $120,000 in savings.
And you're renting.
So we were thinking, yes.
Okay.
What would you do right now if you could just snap your fingers with the skill set you have, knowing your industry, that would pay you the most? What would that be?
There are a couple options. I have maybe going into consulting for a company, auto company, or I honestly worked for myself my whole life, 36, and I don't know.
So do you have trade skills?
I do have trade skills.
What
I
are
used
those?
to work in a body shop as a tech, as a repairing cars.
Mm-hmm.
And I can get back into that.
What was the actual business?
100.
Was what you said? It was auto wrecking.
Yes.
What's that mean?
So that's recycling.
A junkyard.
It's like a junkyard. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
right.
I was doing more of like a indoor auto wrecking, which was parting cars out, selling used auto parts.
Okay, so you would buy a totaled car, part it out, sell off the scrap, and sell off the parts.
Correct.
Indoors. And when you were in Tacoma and you all lived there and the business was flourishing, what did you make? What was your best year profit? Taxable profit?
About 150.
Okay. All right. What does it take to set that up? So you lost tools and some inventory in the fire.
Mm-hmm.
What's it take to set the business up and get it running? Not counting the land and the building.
It would take some tools, some equipment.
Like 50 grand, 40 grand?
Like probably around there, yeah. 40.
Yeah. Okay. What I would do if I were in your shoes is I would take some side gig hustle and grind to make a living, and I would go rent a warehouse somewhere, and I would sell your land. Now, if you sell the land, you got $220,000, right?
Correct.
Okay, and we take 50 out of that, and now I've got 170 to put down on a house.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to start the business in a rental property, not an owned piece of real estate. This time I'm going to put insurance on it, and you know how to make $150,000 a year parting out cars on the inside of a warehouse, right?
Yes.
And you can turn a profit within 90 days of doing that, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured you could, because that's a quick turn business. You have the access to the supply of the totaled vehicles, and do you have a distribution for the parts to part them out? You know how to get them sold right quick? Because you weren't doing that on a local basis. You're doing that on a national basis.
National and international, we're selling.
Yeah, the parting out it's an internet function, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, okay. This is not like some good old boy in Sarasota wanders in and buys a transmission from you. You're parting this sucker out. You're sending every little piece all over the dadgum world out of this thing, and you know exactly what the cars in your gut without even asking that have parts that are in high demand, so you know what to buy.
That's correct.
Yeah, because the parts on that particular vehicle will sell. The parts on the other vehicle won't sell, so I don't screw with it, right?
That's 100%.
Yeah. Yep. This is his skills.
It is. The issue that I want to address real quick is the relationship issue. Your wife wants you to get what she's calling a stable job. That means a salary. And so you've got to you've got to think through that. What is her concern? What's her big concern? Because I agree with Dave. You can absolutely do that. I would be working in some trades, and I'd ease into it a little bit based on what's happened. But I want to know what she's so worried about.
She's worried about me being home and having less stress because I had to leave. we decided to leave to Florida. I had to work from home.
Why did
remotely,
you move to Florida?
It was just something we wanted to do. Like
bull crap. Why did you move to Florida?
Okay, so there is a little bit of politics. It's closer to my wife's family.
Okay.
And better for our kids.
There you go. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
All right. Now, yes. So I'm with Ken. You know, you can do the parting out on the side at first until you get it up and running, but you can make more doing this than you can any trade job or any side hustle. Agreed?
Yes.
This is the way you make your family the most money, is reopen this business and run it. But don't get in the real estate business. Be in the part business. Mm-hmm. Rent the dadgum warehouse from somebody. Let them deal with the real estate like you did before. This time carry insurance on your stuff, for God's sakes. But other than that, yeah. And so you can drop $50K there. You can set $170 aside for a house. Start talking about when we're going to buy the house. Actually, the truth is that you may want to rent for 2 years and establish a really good income as a self-employed person to qualify for a decent mortgage out of this particular business. But you're not, you got to get that business really rocking for 2 years to be able to use that money to qualify for the mortgage, because you're going to have 2 years of self-employed income to prove it out. Otherwise, you're going to be making 60 or 80 doing a trade, and that's the house you're going to buy. So if I'm you guys, if I can get my wife on board, I'm going to say, let's get a rental and have a 2-year plan. I'm going to work my tail end off. We're going to get this business up and running, and then I'm going to quit the side job and run the business full time. I'm going to come home at 5 o'clock, and I'm going to hire staff and people working for me, so I don't have to be gone all the time. And we run a business during a normal business hours, and we grow it, and we're going to make $250 because we're going to staff up, and we're going to run, hire some marketing people, some tech people, as well as some people to do the actual wrench turning. And let's get this thing up and going. And 3 years from now, you ought to be making serious money. That's that, and buy a house with 170 down or 150 down. Keep 20 as your emergency fund. But yeah, considering you had no insurance and considering you didn't have a good plan before, you've got a lot of good options in front of you.
He really does. In great financial shape, minus the insurance issue.
Yeah, exactly. And if you'd have had the insurance, you'd have been another 50 ahead or whatever it is, or more. Yeah, that's whew. Lesson learned. Lesson learned. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey folks, you know that sinking feeling when you make an offer on a house you love and then you hear there's another offer? You need the Churchill Mortgage Home Buyer Edge. Super fast pre-approval and a secured interest rate, plus a $5,000 seller guarantee gives your offer the best chance of being accepted. The Home Buyer Edge from Churchill gives you an advantage over those other guys. Go to churchillmortgage.com today to learn more. Thanks for joining us, America. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, is my co-host. You jump in, we'll talk about your life and your money. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Hey, Nicole and Perry are with us on the debt-free stage in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions. Hey, guys, how are you?
Good. Doing good.
Good. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you. So, where do you live?
Amherst, Massachusetts.
Ah, cool. Welcome to Nashville.
Thank you.
And how much debt have you guys paid off?
$305,000.
Okay. And this took how long?
3 years.
Exactly 3 years. All right. Excellent. Excellent. So if I've got my notes right, you're coming to join us.
Yes.
You're coming to join the Ramsey team.
Yes, just happened.
Well, congratulations. What are you going to be doing?
I'm a product manager on the coaching team.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
I see the team is out there. They're very excited.
Yeah,
good team
they're
spirit
excited
there.
to have you. So what that means is we're not going to ask your income.
Yeah.
Okay. So $305,000. What kind of debt was this?
Everything from business debt to car debt, credit cards, family loans, house improvement loans.
Yeah, everything.
Everything.
Yeah. So tell me, you're normal.
Yeah.
Very.
Okay. How long y'all been married?
We just hit 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 years into marriage, normal sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
Yep.
how'd you get connected to us and then end up working here too?
Crazy story. So I came across you like a decade ago. I think I just found a book, but didn't really just listened, didn't really tried my best to follow it, but met him. And once we met and got married, we were just living the life. And then COVID hit and he had his own business and lost the business during COVID. So that's when we were we lost almost everything. And that was when we're hey, maybe we should follow this. And that's kind of how we got on the plan, was when we lost everything, because everything was going fine. We were normal up until then.
The income disappeared and all of a sudden what you thought was smart turns out to be stress tested.
Yes.
And didn't look smart anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we always were banking on the business being able to continue and to be able to pay the lifestyle. And then, the business went from making about $65,000 a month to zero because of the lockdowns. And so all of a sudden the lifestyle caught up to us and we realized it wasn't sustainable. We couldn't do anything. We almost went bankrupt. And so...
What do you do now, Perry?
I'm in marketing and email specialist.
Okay. All right. So you can just transfer that when you guys move to Nashville without any trouble?
Yep.
Okay. And get back to making some bank again?
Hopefully, yeah.
Good for you.
Was that your business?
No, I actually owned a gym. So I actually had a personal training studio in Philadelphia.
Oh, that's a good way to get completely shut down during COVID.
Yeah, so it was not the best business to have.
I read it. Yeah, Philadelphia shut everything down.
Well, and those little COVIDs, they don't like people that work out.
It's true. They
get those COVIDs are mad at people that work out. Oh, wow, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry you went through that, but I'm so happy you found the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when we actually scheduled this debt-free scream, she hadn't applied yet. It wasn't even on the radar. We kind of just put it out there to kind of get full circle. And then
we were looking at hosting FPU classes. And so I was on the website perusing, just, looking at all the different things you have. And then I was like, let me look at the careers just for fun. And then saw a role. And I actually just wanted to do a coffee chat to learn, what is it that you're looking for in a product manager? So then I can tailor my resume to be what you're looking for. Or if there's anything I'm missing, I can go out and then get that experience and then try when I'm ready. So a coffee chat ended up to interviews. And then it was you're coming down. Let's, see if we can speed it up. And then,
you stepped into the tractor beam.
Yeah, and it's been a great experience. So we're really excited.
I love it. Way to go. Yeah. Very cool. Well, welcome aboard. Welcome to Nashville, and congratulations. All right. Now, you've been through hell and back. What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
I think constant communication. We listen to the podcast every single day for a couple hours a day and would constantly dream of what things would be like once we pay everything off. And, we when he lost his income, we were only on my income. And so we basically were we got to live, everything's got to be within my income. So then when he did get a job, all his income is what helped us pay it off within 3 years, because we could live on one income.
Mm-hmm. And, you situated, got your lifestyle way down.
Yeah, and we've sacrificed a lot. It's not we were living the life still. It was, we sacrificed a lot, gave up a lot. And it was a tough 3 years, but worth it in the end.
Yeah, I think intentionality was huge. Just being able to speak about everything and have a plan and know this is a season that might be a long season, but it would be, it'd end sooner than later if we just kept to the plan. And so I think at one time I had 7 jobs that I was doing. I was doing anything that someone would pay me to do. I mean, almost anything.
Anything moral and legal.
Yes. And so we just stuck to the plan, and we, always communicated, and even in the hard times, we tried to, understand where we were in that journey and visualize where we were going, and we finished way sooner than we thought we would.
It sounds like, Perry, you were working a whole lot. That's a big sacrifice. But Nicole, when you were talking about a lot, you extended that vowel sound. I'm curious, what were some of the toughest sacrifices that you guys made?
So one of our big debts was we did van life for a little bit. So we bought a Sprinter van, a 4x4 Mercedes Sprinter, and flipped that. So we had to. That's what kickstarted it. We were like, we have to sell it. And that was like a big sacrifice. It was like a gut punch. It was like, oh, look, we're living this amazing life. And then to then be like,
gone.
It's gone. And we made that sacrifice to sell it. So that was a big chunk that helped us a lot. And then, we didn't eat out. We didn't do anything. There were times I got invited to my friend's bachelorette, and I was like, I'm really sorry. I can't afford it. And I have such amazing friends. They were like, come, it's okay. We'll cover you. We want you there. So that was amazing as well. But
humbling.
Yeah, but we had to say no. And I think we've become the annoying people that say no to everything and we're cheap and whatever. But
I think at one point it sunk in too when things were starting to turn around, and when we were in the van, you have cheap utensils and cheap, things to cook, and we literally never even bought a new spatula. We were using this broken plastic spatula that couldn't pick things up, and we went to Target one day and bought a spatula, and we go, woo! We did it. We made it.
Our drinking glasses were when we would get spaghetti sauce, we would rinse it out, and that would be our drinking glasses. So when people came over, we're like, sorry, we don't have glasses. And we had people being like, come on, guys, you can buy plates, because we only had 4, and he had dropped a few, and they were like, come on.
I tend to break things.
Yeah, I've been there, Perry. I get in trouble for that one.
Perry, the sacrifice was Perry dropping plates.
Yeah, and people were like, you can afford that. You can get plates. And we're like, we could, but then it's but then we could get this as well and this as well. So we were just we're sacrificed a lot. And even for our son, we have a baby boy. It was, he would go to daycare, and we only had 3 or 4 outfits, and we're like, sorry, we got to do laundry. We don't have anything. We sacrificed a lot in that sense as well.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He'll never know.
He will never know.
He couldn't, Dave, there's a whole lot of no's there that are going to lead them to a pretty big yes here in just a moment. Yeah. And I think that's a great lesson. You guys are awesome.
Congratulations. We're honored to have you on the team and honored to have you as family members here, and absolutely incredible. We've got the Baby Steps Millionaires book for you, the Total Money Makeover book, and a Financial Peace University membership as well. You'll have all those things when you're here anyway, but you can give them away. And your son's age and name?
Levi, and he's 14 months.
Oh, he is cute. He's a baby commercial looking for a place to happen.
And I'll point out, he's got a very clean outfit, by the way. Yeah, freshly laundered.
Freshly laundered outfit, yes. Nicole, Perry, and Levi formerly from Amherst, Massachusetts, now from Franklin, Tennessee. $305,000 paid off in 3 years. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! Wow. That's the way to start a new job.
It really is. It's quite a start.
Very good stuff. This is The Ramsey Show. Well, you've all played the telephone game. The first person whispers a message to the second person, who whispers it to the third, and so on around the table until the original message has completely changed. Multiply that confusion by 100 if you run a business with different software systems that don't talk to each other. That's why there's NetSuite by Oracle. In the early days of Ramsey, we were using different systems for all of our business units. We needed one single source for accurate data. NetSuite was the software we used to optimize and take us to the next level. NetSuite gave us the visibility into all of our numbers so that we could communicate across departments and plan ahead better. And as we grew, it scaled with us. NetSuite worked for Ramsey, and it will make a difference for your business too. Join the more than 34,000 customers who trust NetSuite to help make them smarter and make better decisions and level up their operations. To learn more, get a free product tour at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Our question of the day is sponsored by Neighborly, your hub for home services. If you're moving, you have a long list of to-dos, but Neighborly has local pros like Housemaster, 5-Star Painting, Window Genie, and Junk King to check items off that list. Visit neighborly.com and schedule a home service expert near you.
Today's question comes from Alex in Oklahoma. I recently changed jobs for a pay increase to get us through baby step 2. It's the same role at a new company. My previous employer said that they could not make me a counteroffer, but last week I heard from a coworker at that company that they may reach out to me to see if I would come back. They may try to match a new salary or maybe even increase it. I was wondering if this is a risky move. I'm concerned that I might be a target if there are layoffs since I jumped ship. I enjoyed working with my old team, but left for the large pay increase, almost 50%. Is this concern rational? And if so, what can I do to lessen the risk? Well, there's a whole lot of mays and maybes, and I heard this, it came from a coworker. So until the old company contacts you back, Alex, this is all speculation. Let's start there. But if they were to contact you and you had this, I think it's a legit concern because, if someone left me, if I was the owner of a company and someone left me, I would be worried that they would leave me again. And that's a reasonable worry. You left for a big pay increase, but I would just bring it up to them. If this happens, there's a whole lot of maybes in this. And so if they call you back, they want you back, you can explain, hey, I left. I needed the money. I was paying off debt. That's a very reasonable explanation. And in the interview process, just say, hey, have I created some concern for you? Do you think I'm loyal? Like, I'd bring it up in the interview and look them eyeball to eyeball and allow them to address it, address the elephant in the room. And if they go, there's no elephant, then you're fine. But I wouldn't worry about it unless, they say that they've got concerns about you leaving them again. Now, I'm interested to know your thoughts on that because people leave. We're a large company, and any company has people move in and move out. What's your take on that?
If they wouldn't match the salary before you left, the fact that they're coming back now and doing it makes me not want to work for them. So I wouldn't go back. And we have a rule at Ramsey. Our rule is we almost never rehire because in the times that we have rehired in our world, we're not in a high turnover world. We're in a low turnover world. I got a friend that's in the restaurant business. He rehires all the time, but they have 125% turnover a year. So they rehire people. They don't, they work 7 different places and they cycle back around. But that's a different world. This is a low turnover world I'm in. And what we found over 30 years of running Ramsey is that the reason that someone left the first time will be the same reason they leave the second time. And so,
yeah, I agree. I think that's consistent.
So we don't rehire except in very rare circumstances. 99% of the time, it's no. I think I have 2 people out of 1,000 that are on their second round here at this moment, if I remember right. I can name one of them, and there's another one in the back of my head somewhere. But and we actually call that guy Unicorn.
Yeah, he is.
Because he's pretty rare.
He really is.
He's a fabulous team member.
That's right.
So, but his nickname around here is that, for that very reason, because it's unusual for us to rehire. So anyway, but also I would reverse that in your case and say, for the very reason that they didn't take care of you before you left is the reason you don't want to return. They didn't step up. You had to wait until you were gone. And then they're like, well, I guess I don't, because you're right. You're the first one back out the door. When you get back over there, you're in a tenuous setting. I wouldn't go back. I think you made your decision. You moved on. You got a 50% pay raise. I'd stay. Stay where you are.
Yeah.
And just say, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. That's nice. I wish we'd had this discussion before, but we didn't, and I'm not cool. If they make the offer on the spot, then that's different.
Yeah, a lot of speculation in this too, and I think he needs to be focused on the now, where he is, and let's move forward.
Yeah,
and I think you make a good point.
Quit jumping around on every penny that somebody throws at you. 50%'s not a penny, but if they're going to just match what you did and you're going to go back, no.
Yeah.
I mean, if they want to give you 50% of what you got now, we'll have to talk about it, I guess. But, but if all you're doing is say, it's not, be careful.
Yep.
Yeah. Because we know that following the Great Resignation was the Great Regret.
That's correct. Millions of people went to another job and they went, oh, this isn't what I thought it was going to be, or what I was told. There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah. They told me I could, I work for Zoom and I could work from home. And then Zoom says, oh, even Zoom is coming back to work in the office. That's the great
That's the irony.
The greatest irony in the history of the world. But yeah. So, a lot of fun. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Katrina is in Boston, Mass. Hey, Katrina, what's up?
Hi, Dave. Hi, Ken. Thanks for taking my call. I am a new listener to your show, and I am just kicking myself for not listening earlier. I feel like I've never really learned to adult when it comes to my finances, so I have a lot to learn. I am a 45-year-old single mom by choice. That means I decided to have my children on my own using a sperm donor, and I say that so you know I'm totally financially responsible for my two kids. They just turned 1 and 3. They're little babies. And I'm really feeling anxious about our financial future, and I'm just a little bit paralyzed about what my next step should be. I have a chunk of money in savings, and I don't know if I should pay off my mortgage.
What's a chunk?
I have about $250,000 in savings.
That's a good chunk.
Each of the kids, right? Yeah, it's a good chunk. They each have about $8,000 in their accounts as well.
Okay. And how much do you make a year?
About $145,000.
Okay. And what debts other than your mortgage do you have?
None, just my mortgage.
Wow.
I just got a payoff quote on it because I have a feeling you're going to tell me to pay it off.
What's the payoff on it?
Quote. It's 97 or 98. It's not much, but here's my complications. I bought my house a few years ago from my father. I bought it for $150,000, and it's a great deal. At the time, it was probably worth $350,000. Now I think it's about worth $650,000. But it's falling apart, and it also came with 2 little rental units. So the whole thing together is probably sell for around $650,000. And everything is kind of old and falling apart. I'm constantly putting money in to fix things. Never mind trying to get ahead on some of the repairs that I know will need to come soon. The other complication I have is that I have a very long commute to work. I'm a high school teacher, high school vice principal, and I spend between 3 and 4 hours a day commuting right now. My kids are in. I know my kids are in daycare. It's fine. I spend an absolute fortune to, pay people to take care of my kids for me. So I know at some point in the next few years, I'm either going to have to get a new job, which I don't want to do, or buy a new home that's closer to work. So I just don't know what to do with my money and how to set myself up for success in 5 years.
Where did the $250,000 come from?
Just my savings.
You're frugal.
Amazing.
I guess. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Been really careful.
You lived on $250,000 less than you made over a period of some years. That's impressive.
Well, I'm 45.
It's impressive.
I'm 45, and I never.
Well, you're not 85. This is amazing.
No.
You did great.
Receive the compliment. You rock, Katrina.
Yeah, you did great, man.
I would sell the house.
I would sell your house today.
Yeah, and move closer to the district.
And pay cash.
Oh, I can't sell the house because it's a family house that we are very attached to.
Who's we?
Me and my parents.
I'm not attached to it. It's a house.
It allowed me to have the kids that I would not have been able to have when I was renting an apartment in Boston,
So, it served its purpose.
And
it's a house.
You sell it.
Even with the rental unit?
I would sell it. The chances of me commuting 3 hours a day is precisely zero for more than 10 days.
That's going to kill you. It's going to suck the life out of you.
You're more obligated to this house than you are spending time with your children.
Oh, I know, but I know. I hear you.
Sell the house.
Okay.
It's a stupid house. Oh, my gosh.
Life is too short to commute
If you gave your children a gift that at first was a blessing and later became a curse because they didn't want you to feel bad, you didn't give them a gift. And you wouldn't do that to your kids, and your dad didn't do that to you. Sell the house. It's a house. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Ken. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, and #1 best-selling author of the book From Paycheck to Purpose, all about careers and jobs. He's my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Dane is in Denver. Hi, Dane. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, welcome to me. I've always wanted to say this. How are you doing, Mr. Ramsey?
Better than I deserve. What's up, man?
Hey, yes, I have a really quick question, hopefully. I'm looking to make a lateral move in housing from one house to another. I currently own my home that I live in, and I'm looking to make a slight move, not too far away, and I see it as two different options that I have. I'm trying to avoid getting another mortgage out. I'm trying to avoid moving into a rental temporarily, and I'm trying to avoid storing all my stuff. I'd like to just go from one house to the other. I see it as I can do a sale on contingency, or what about these We Buy Your House services? Are they a scam or not?
Well, they're not a scam, but they're buying the home to resell it at a profit, which means they have to buy it from you at below retail.
Right. Yeah, the money that I would lose on that would probably pay for the rental for
How do you
a few
know?
months, you know? I've done a little bit of research. I know renting is extremely high here, and I do work with a lot of appraisers. In the line of work that I do, I'm a land surveyor.
Well, I mean, all of this is assuming that you think you know what they're going to offer you.
Correct. I've actually reached out. Just you can fill out those forms, email kind of forms, and none of them have responded with a number, which kind of
shocking
makes me a little weary. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's because they don't want to scare you to death. They want you to sell them the house. But, dude, I mean, it's usually 80 cents on the dollar, 70 cents on the dollar.
Oh, wow.
And so it's not a small, it's not like a $2,000 discount or something. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
You're not desperate, are you?
No, I have time on my side.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Here's what you need to do. You just need to be patient and do a contingency sale.
Okay.
It's
All
easy.
right, I like that.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it otherwise. Okay, I sold my personal residence when everything peaked out 2 years ago because it was a real killer opportunity to get out of that house. And but we sold it and delayed possession by 4 months. Okay?
Okay.
And that gave us 4 months to get the other house purchased and moved into. Did you take? I didn't take a discount. I just refused to sell it otherwise. So you're going to refuse to sell your home out from under you. You're going to sell it on some kind of terms that allow you to make a one move.
All right. And then the person I'm buying it from, they also have to agree to this too, correct?
Yeah.
I mean,
but what I would do is start shopping the area that you think you want to be in and say, I could live there, there, or there. And if you want to make an offer on one of them, contingent upon the sale of yours, fine. Typically, what most markets do, there's differences in different markets. It's generally culturally, except the real estate community, for some reason, decides it in just culturally in a market. But most of the time, you'll have like a 72-hour first right of refusal. So if the seller of the other property that you wanted to buy accepted a contingency offer from you, it will be contingent upon the sale of yours. And they keep theirs on the market. If they get another buyer, you have 72 hours to say, I'll buy it anyway. And you wouldn't do that. You would let them go.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. I do have time on my side. I'm in no rush.
And so until the right deal comes together and the right timing for you to buy the home that you want and move one time with the sale of yours on a contingency sale, you just don't do it. Well, they won't take a contingency contract. Okay, can't buy that house.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I like this idea, and I can just take my time. It's all out of convenience. Kids got a new school down the street, and
and just what you do is I'm going to carefully line the dominoes up so that when I push them, they all fall and make that beautiful design.
My wife and I can do that. We're totally debt free. We own our house. I'm 42 years old. I'm sitting pretty.
Yeah,
and
the trick is to not get married to the purchase house.
Yeah. Yep.
There's only one, and if I don't get that one, the whole deal. No, there's lots of houses you can purchase, right? So if you don't get married to a certain house, then you say, I want to move over there, and I like this kind of a property, and whichever one God arranges for this whole domino system to fall, I'll land in that, and I'm going to be happy as a clam. Now, the second thing you got to warn yourself against, and I have to warn myself against this too, and I've done real estate my whole life, is when you've got everything lined up, and then someone comes to buy your house, you're emotionally motivated to get that deal done so we can push the dominoes. And if you're not careful, you'll discount your home in the negotiation process because you get all excited.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And just be aware of that. That's human nature. Yeah, I got all this lined up, and I don't really want to take that late little amount, but I want to push the dominoes. And now you're about to take $10,000 too less than you should have. So just play hard to get, and don't get married to the next one. And you can line these up, and you're going to be just fine.
And folks, I want you to know that Dave practices what he preaches in a lot of areas, but you did that on that house, and I got to tell you, you're talking about the house, and I got to tell you, I'm missing that porch. I don't know how you got rid of that house with the porch that you had, highest point in Williamson County.
Yeah, I could see 18 miles off of it.
And you took me back there for a second.
It was beautiful.
I'm being selfish.
It was beautiful.
I kind of missed the hangouts out there.
and the nice people that bought it from us, they paid me for that view.
Yes, they did. And that is the moral of the story, folks. I mean, I thought you were a little crazy, but it was a good move. It was a good move.
It was a little crazy, but it was. If you're ever going to sell a particularly unique property during the hottest time I've ever known in 35 years of real estate would be the time to do it.
And you did.
And I did it right at the top of that market. So it's just,
These fall evenings?
And I'm yelling at somebody all the time on here. It's just a house, and then but that house, the views on that property were
take it from
astronomical.
Me. Yeah,
astronomical. Yeah,
Moment of silence.
I do miss that. Although I'm nestled down in the woods now, where I've got no view, which is amazing too.
You like that? Very quiet.
I'm back in Walden Pond here, So
all right.
I
expect some new poems from you, Dave.
There we go. Yeah,
those will sell.
Those poems will be big. Redneck poetry is a big deal. Hillbilly poetry.
Poems of peace.
That's it.
There it is.
From the woods of the hillbillies.
I've already titled it.
Yeah, there we go. It's next book. Who knew I was going to do another one? I read after Baby Steps
We
Millionaire.
just decided.
Yeah. This is the Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. My friend Willie Robertson is the CEO of Duck Commander and Buck Commander and star of A&E's Duck Dynasty. And they've expanded his family companies from a living room operation to a multi-million-dollar enterprise. Willie spoke with us at EntreLeadership Summit about business and leadership. Did a great job back in May. And he emailed me the other day with this film that he's done about his dad and his mom's early days, and and then sent me a link to it. I intended to watch just a little bit of it so I would be intelligent on this interview, and I couldn't turn it off. It was absolutely fabulous. Willie, how are you, my friend?
What's up, Dave? How are you?
Doing good, man. You're making the rounds pitching a movie, huh?
Sitting here in New York City. You know how it goes, doing this thing.
Yeah. So you on Fox this morning?
I wasn't. No, that didn't work out, but we're working on some other stuff for later on. So, yeah, I've been pretty much on the phone or on the computer or being interviewed all day long. So It's a big week. Week is coming out.
So I'm not going to read the film synopsis. I'll let you just tell the story. But I knew a little bit of the story from talking to you and talking to your dad and your brothers over the years, that your dad was basically a hellraiser and had an amazing experience. Talk through what the film's about.
Yeah, it's a timepiece. It's set in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And I want to make everybody aware, it's not Duck Dynasty. That's the aftermath of a family that's got its way right and has a strong faith. And this is right at the beginning. This is where Dad really lost his way and just really spent about 10 years just making life really rough for my mother and us as kids. And then it's a story of his redemption and how he found the Lord and how, probably more importantly, how Mom forgave him to keep the family together. Dave, if that hadn't happened, my whole life would be completely different. And, who knows what would have happened. I probably wouldn't be talking to you today. So, because out of that came the company, out of that came the business, Duck Commander. From that came Duck Dynasty, and then, and all the things that have gone along with that. And so we can trace that back to this really spiritual moment. And I think you'll realize when you see the movie, man, how close it was, just to being over, completely over. So, it's a powerful story, and it just felt like one we had to really need to tell.
Willie, Ken here. I'm just curious, was Phil reluctant to share this story in movie form? He just comes across as a guy who's just so humble and just a plain-spoken man. I'm curious to know what he's feeling about this story being told.
He really was. I mean, they've been so transparent throughout their whole lives. Like, there's nothing in the movie I saw that I hadn't heard them tell us directly, and they've been really open about their lives. But I think once it got down to, making a movie and we're going to, pretty much highlight the worst time of your life, that was a struggle, and I'm so glad he did. And, we're taught in Christianity and really just generally in life, I think, to not look back. Your past is over. Look forward, press forward, unless they make a movie about it, which is going to live forever, right? And so for he and Mom to really dig back into the past and deal with that pain. But you know what? He said if one person comes to the Lord over this, or it saves a marriage, or can help shed some light on something, he was willing to do it. And that's kind of the guy he is. And it was difficult, and it was really hard for us to watch. I mean, it's just hard to watch. Your parents, like my kids, their grandkids. It's hard for all of us to kind of watch through that pain that they went through.
Yeah. Well, until the story arc hits its peak. And the story's so well told. Not only is it a great story, but it's well told. The screenplay and the acting they're lights out, man. I mean, the guy playing your dad has got the Louisiana accent down. God, I thought it was Phil a couple of times. He could do voiceovers for Phil.
He's from England.
No way!
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, he's good. He's good, man.
He's not even from America. Yeah, isn't that amazing how those, really all the cast and how they put that, when they showed up and do what they do, it was amazing just putting that story. The hardest part, Dave, was to make it not rated R because Phil's life was really rated R. It was hard to make a faith-based movie about a guy who pretty much the whole movie has nothing to do with faith. So, but that's the gritty story. That's where we all were. We get ourselves in these situations, and so we just wanted it to be real and raw and honest, and say, hey, this was it. This is what life looked like.
Movie comes out 9/28, the 28th of September this week. It's called The Blind, and it's set in a duck blind, him talking to one of his friends who's asking him how he turned his life around, and then he takes you back through the history as he's telling his friend the story. And it's a great setup. His storytelling mechanism is absolutely good, and I'm blown away this kid's from England, because I got to tell you, man, I thought he was a swamp guy. I really did. He completely sold me. And when that preacher baptizes your dad in the movie in the swamp water, and he comes out screaming about Jesus and loving Jesus, I got tears running down my face. I emailed Willie, Ken, I said, I'm not crying, you are.
Yeah, it's dusty in here.
Yeah, something in the allergies are bad this time of year.
Yeah.
So I know what Phil wants. Phil wants people to meet Jesus. That's Phil's whole thing in life. Everything he does is about that. And as you guys put all of this together, what was the overall goal for the film?
I mean, really, the number one was the same thing. I mean, we were wanting to tell this story, and Corey and I got into production really to tell stories, and we just saw the power that Duck Dynasty had. Just thousands of people telling us, like, what the story meant, what the TV show meant to them, the prayer at the end, just the dinner table, all that. And so we were like, hey, we need to put more stories like this out. We didn't particularly weren't going to do our stories, but this was just such a story that we decided to put this one out. And so that was our goal, was just to save marriages, help people, and tell the story that, look, we're no different. I think you can see people on TV, and it looks like we've got it all together. It's like, oh, they don't have any problems, and they got money, and they got, and we just wanted to show you, no, our life is just like yours.
Having spent time with the current version of Uncle Si, seeing the youthful version of Uncle Si was mind-blowing.
Ain't that fun? That's one of my favorite parts to see it, because that's what I didn't get to see. I didn't get to see that growing up. I didn't get to see young Uncle Si, little kid Uncle Si, and I thought those moments were real fun. And the moment with Bradshaw, too, because Terry Bradshaw and Phil played at Tech together, and Terry told me that story, the story we have in there, Phil taking Terry fishing. Terry told me that story. He was doing autographs, and I think I was like 13 years old. And he said, hey, let me tell you this story about what your dad did to me. And so we put that story in the movie, which is really fun.
Yeah. And let's not miss that, folks. If you didn't catch that, he's talking about the Hall of Famer, the legendary Terry Bradshaw, and Phil hanging out together. Now,
no, Phil was the quarterback.
No, I know.
Terry was the backup.
I know, but I'm saying they're hanging out together.
He quits because he wants to duck hunt.
Right.
So Bradshaw becomes the quarterback.
Right.
And Phil's duck hunting instead of in the NFL.
How great is that? But just imagine those two having conversations. Those are some characters.
And the movie portrays it really well.
I love
All right,
that.
how do you get tickets and movie information for The Blind, Willie?
You can go to theblindmovie.com and find out more about it. You can purchase tickets now, and you can rent whole theater. You can get together as a church. And, here's the deal, guys. We only have a week in the theaters. If it does well, they'll keep it longer, obviously. And so I think we really got to make the statement, to Hollywood and everybody else who makes movies, and said, hey, these are the kind of movies. And we've seen such successful movies, Juice Revolution, Sound of Freedom. There's been some great ones. So, go support it.
Yeah. All right. The movie is The Blind. Check it out at theblind.com. See you soon, my friend. Good luck with this, and God's blessings on it.
Thank you, buddy. See you soon.
Be good. This is The Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. We'll talk about your life and your money. On the debt-free stage is Scott and Rachel. Hey, guys, how are you? Let's try again. Hey, guys, how are you?
We're doing great. How are you guys doing?
Better than we deserve. Where do you live?
We live in Laverne, California, which is just outside of Pasadena.
All right. Very cool. Welcome to Nashville. And how much debt have you guys paid off?
We paid off $377,708.
All right.
Wow.
How long did this take?
It took about 5.5 years.
Good for you. I love it. And your range of income during that time?
Well, we started at around 160. I made a career change right at the end of 2019. COVID hit. I was a wedding planner. Nothing.
Oh, no.
So we dropped to about 140, and then I picked up a ton of jobs. So we increased back up to 220, working about 7 jobs at one point.
Wow. Are you back to wedding planning now?
I am, yes.
Good. Thank
Yes.
God. Better than 7 jobs, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
What kind of debt was the 378?
So about 15,000 was cars, 20,000 was credit cards, and then another 340,000 was student loans.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Way to go, guys. Yeah. Student loans galore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
For what?
I went to, I'm a pharmacist, so I went to pharmacy school, which was very affordable.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and what did you pay? How much of the student loans were yours? All of them?
Pretty much all of them.
Pretty much, yeah.
300,000 for pharmacy school?
With interest rates and everything, yeah.
Yep.
Holy, you got ripped off. Oh, my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Well, congratulations. You're there now, and you got a good income. That's good.
Yep.
So you plowed through this. What happened 5.5 years ago? You got out of school, got married, and went, oh, my God?
Yeah. So what's funny is my parents put my brother and I through Financial Peace University in high school. So I had the knowledge going into it, but we really didn't discuss finances until premarital. And I realized we were not on the same page. I had FPU in my back pocket. Scott did not, and he was against it. So when we got married, he came to me and said, I want a TV. I knew we couldn't afford it. And I actually went to my dad and I said, what do I do? Like, he wants this TV. I don't agree. And he was like, look, tell him if he'll do FPU with you, you can get the TV. Just make it that. And so he agreed.
Dad is all about bribing.
Yeah.
Yes, he agreed. And by the second class, he was hooked.
And no TV.
No, we did get the TV.
We did get the TV. That was part of the deal.
You
It was the
followed
TV.
through on
You
it.
held her to it, Scott. Oh, I like
wow.
that.
Yeah.
I'm glad it wasn't a car.
Yeah, I was, to be honest, I was very skeptical. I was not on board initially, even after the first class of FPU. I was like, yeah, we'll see. Like, let's see how this plays out. And then the second class, everyone had to total up their debt that they had, and we added it together as a class. And with my wife clutching my hand, I realized we had 90% of our class's debt. And so we needed to make a change.
Oh, wow. So that hooked you.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay.
Group shaming.
Yes.
I was like, how is this possible? Like, what?
Whoa. We got a lot, and we got almost all of it. Yeah.
I have a relationship question on this, given how this has been set up. So when you realize that and you go, it's done, like, how quickly do you tell her? Is it on the way out? Is it in the car? Is it at home?
It was in the class. It was in the car. It was the next day. It was like continuous conversation afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you flip the switch, you flip the switch.
I was all in afterwards.
Those of us that are cynical, I'm the same way. I have the gift of cynicism. I'm either all in or I'm all out.
Yeah.
And so once I'm out, I'm out. And once I'm in, I'm in. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And it's game on. Yeah. There's no ish.
Yeah.
It's I either think you're selling snake oil or this is the best thing since sliced bread. Yeah.
Once I started crunching the numbers, I was like, yeah, I'm in.
I'm in. Let's do this. Let's do game on. Game on. Let's go win the Super Bowl. So 5.5 years later, you plow through your student loans. This is an ironic debt-free scream the week before student loans restart.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, big Sunday, Black Sunday's coming.
Yeah.
This Sunday is when they start back for everybody, and you've got a $378,000 story here. that you guys plowed through. And it was really your first order of business in the marriage right after a TV.
Yep.
Yeah.
Priorities.
Yeah, well, that's it.
I guess the TV came in handy because you guys didn't go out. You were either working or sleeping, eating. That was pretty much it. Yeah.
We still have the TV, so I'm grateful.
All right, that's a good move.
Wow. Good for you guys. Very, very well done. I'm proud of you. Excellent, excellent stuff. So what advice do you have to somebody that's got a big old pile of student loans and they're facing it for Sunday? Because this really is a week, honestly. We can joke around about it, but it's a scary week for a lot of people because they're having that realization that Biden is not coming and they're going to have to do this themselves. They signed up for it and they're going to have to pay it. Whether you agree with it or not doesn't matter. That's your reality, and folks are scared. And they're confused. They're overwhelmed. I mean, that's a big old mountain. That's Mount Everest, 378,000. You come out and you write that down, you go have an oh crap moment. So what's your advice to somebody sitting where you were sitting 5.5 years ago?
I think for me, it's just having open communication about finances, just being able to come to your spouse and just say, you know what, like, this is what I need. This is what's important to me. This is what we need to start thinking about, and just having that dialogue and being on the same page. What's helped us tremendously to be on that same page is having a monthly budget meeting. We sit down every single month. We go through our finances. We go through everything that's expected and potentially coming up, and we're able to work through it.
Yeah, and for me, it's funny, Jade was talking about it last week, actually, is celebrating the small wins. I know that the life cycle of getting out of debt's only supposed to be 24 to 48 months, and ours was 5.5 years, and it's a long time to be under that amount of stress. And we tried to take every opportunity we could to just celebrate the small wins. We made an Instagram page with our dog, and we would form our payoff for the month in his kibble, and he would then eat it. We'd film him eating it and post it.
I love
we named him the Debt-Free Dude because he's a doodle. So that was
love the doodles.
Yep. And Scott was always really great about just finding little surprises to celebrate. When we got under 100K, he set up this fake game show in our backyard with lights and fake
balloons,
money. I had to throw a baseball to break the paper to see what our new balance was. It was very elaborate.
That's awesome.
We have photos of it, but just celebrating that stuff, because it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel if you aren't celebrating.
Okay, real quick, that's brilliant. and because I've read a lot about, there's a lot of research on gamifying goals.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys did. And that really did help you get through each new hurdle, because the brain goes, all right, we have something to look forward to in the midst of all this struggle. That's really brilliant. I love that.
We had, 8 different loans, 8 different student loans. And so every single time we were able to pay off one, it was like, okay, like we're down 1. We only have 5 left.
Yeah.
Okay, we have 4 left, and so on. And so I think it helped a lot.
And last thing, for anyone fighting that large of a mountain of debt, give yourself grace. It's easy to get upset if you have a slower month or you feel like you're not moving as fast as you can, and just know that you're not going backwards. You keep going forward, you will see the light.
You guys are heroes. How's it feel?
I don't know.
Hey, we've got the Total Money Makeover book, the Baby Steps Millionaires book, and the Financial Peace University membership for you to live or give in the Live and Give box. Way to go, guys. We're very proud of you. Scott and Rachel, Pasadena, California, $378,000 paid off in 5.5 years, 160 to 220. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free! Yeah! I love it! Yes! It's amazing. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, 2 Chronicles 15:7. But you take courage. Do not let your hands be weak, for your work shall be rewarded. Herb Kelleher said, the world isn't going to shower gold coins on you just because you have a good idea. You're going to have to work like crazy to bring that idea to the attention of people. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Mark is in Cincinnati. Hey, Mark, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, great to be on here.
Good to have you. How can I help?
I just had a question about building credit. I just don't know where to start. I'm currently a student. I'm 23 years old. I am graduating in 3 months debt-free. I don't have any, like I said, I don't have any debt. I just don't know where to start with building credit.
Why do you need to build credit?
Because I'm trying to move out of my parents' house in the next 3 to 6 months.
That doesn't require credit.
Okay. Well, I don't know, because from my understanding, I know that most renters want a line of credit, or
not true.
They at least want some kind of credit history.
It's not true. That's a lie that your friends tell each other.
Okay. Well, that's why I'm here. I'm here to get some good advice.
So here's the thing. Everybody says that you have to have a credit score in order to rent an apartment, and yet we routinely will pick up the phone and call 10 apartment complexes in any given area and say, hey, I'm a student coming out of college. I have zero debt and zero credit. Will you rent to me? 9 out of 10 of them say yes. And yet all of your friends tell each other that you have to go get a credit card to build up your credit because no one will rent to you. But the truth is, if you actually call 10 apartment complexes, 2 of them might not, but so what? The other 8 will. Some of them may require a slightly larger deposit, which you get back if you leave the place in good shape and pay your rent. But don't fall for the trap, Mark. The trap is that you have to go build a FICO score, and the way you build a FICO score is you go in debt. Why do I do that? So that I can borrow money. Why do I borrow money? So I can build my FICO score. Why do I build my FICO score? So I can borrow money. Why do I borrow money? So I can build my FICO score. Why do I build my FICO score? So I can borrow money. And it's a dog chasing its tail, and suddenly you're an American making $100,000 a year, and 100% of your money goes out to some stupid butt bank because you worshipped at the altar of the great FICO. And that's what your friends are doing, and some of their parents are doing, but it's not smart, and it's also not factual.
Yeah. Well, that's what my brother said. He said that a credit score is just an I love debt score.
It sounds like he's been listening to the Ramsey Show.
He has. He's actually been on your show before.
So what's your future look like? You graduate, then what?
Yeah. Well, I graduate in December, and then I'm actually going back to school for a second bachelor's, which I only have 2 classes left for. So by May of the next year, I'll have 2 bachelor's, and then I'll be looking at master's programs.
What are you going to be doing for making money to be able to pay this rent?
Right now, I'm working full-time, and then I also work kind of part-time as an independent contractor doing group counseling sessions, because that's what I'm going to school for. I'm going to be a addictions counselor.
Okay.
So you're going to get your master's so you can get licensed in the state of Ohio. Good for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm already licensed as an addictions counselor in the state of Ohio. I'm going for
They don't require a master's?
Health counseling. No. So the way I did it, you just need a master's for higher credentials, which is that's what I'm going for.
So why the second bachelor's?
Just because it's only 2 classes left. And,
okay, got you. I see. Right, you just check it off.
It's within reach.
Yeah,
okay,
that makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I'm just curious. I'm not questioning whether it's right or not because I just don't know. But the second master's higher credentials enables you to do what that you can't do now as a licensed therapist.
So it's just so right now I'm licensed as an addictions counselor, but I want to go into mental health counseling, which requires a higher level of schooling, and
that does require a master's. That does require a master's.
Yeah, that's what I want to go into.
I mean, they won't give you the license without the master's, is what you're saying.
Right. So eventually, my big goal in 5 to 10 years is to found and own my own counseling kind of organization and to
Good for
provide
you. Okay.
holistic
Yeah, good for
mental
you.
health and addictions counseling to people that are struggling.
I love that you're working in the field while you're going to get the master's.
Love that.
That's a beautiful path. It's gonna equip you beyond what you realize. Not only are you making the money to pay for everything, but it's going to equip you. Very well done, Mark. Very well done.
And one other small practical thing to consider, Mark, it may not be right for you, but being single, you're working a lot, schooling, maybe getting a roommate for that first apartment will also help solve that perceived problem as well. Get in, save a little bit of money. You're still renting, you're out on your own, but that's an option and something to think about.
Cuts the cost down.
Yeah.
Beverly's in Dallas. Hi, Beverly. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thank you. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Well, I'm a little bit different than a lot of your callers. I'm 74 years old. And I wish to goodness I'd started listening to you 20 years ago, but I didn't, so I'm starting today.
Okay.
I have about $31,959.26 to be exact in credit card debt. And I know that I want to get busy and, as you say, gazelle-like in paying that off. But I also have $57,623 left on my house. Dave, I'm 74 and I'm in good health. I want to pay off all this credit card debt, but is it okay if I just continue making payments on my house while I'm still young enough and healthy enough to travel and do things and then pay for it? I mean, obviously continue making payments, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but the more stable the sooner your house is paid off, the more stable your last year's will be.
Right.
And so that's the trade-off. Obviously, you need to clean the credit card debt up before we talk about travel.
Right.
Okay, but
right.
And do you have any money?
I do. I'm retired, and I have like $425,000 in an annuity with it's a fixed indexed annuity with a lifetime rider.
Yeah, pay both the loans off tomorrow.
Do what?
Pay both the loans off tomorrow.
Okay.
Out of that annuity.
And I have about $40,000 in stocks, Textron and Computer Share stocks.
Okay, I would cash that out and pay, and then take a little more out of the annuity, and make sure you have an emergency fund set aside, and you're 100% debt free by the end of the week. No mortgage, no credit cards. Cut up the credit cards, Beverly. It's time for plastic surgery, not because you're 74, but because you use credit cards.
Well, I haven't used those credit cards in about 3 years.
Good, then cut them up.
My sister to help me, and at the time I asked her to help me, I had about $23,000 in credit card debt, and her suggestion was to get a credit card and have all my bills just go to that. And
so your sister's not very good at this.
Well, she and her husband are millionaires, which is why I asked them for their help.
Her theory took you from 23 to 32, so her idea sucks.
Yeah, for me it sure did.
Well, I'm just saying.
For me,
you need to cut up the credit cards completely, get you a debit card like I use and like Ken uses. And a debit card is you have to only spend money that you have. Chop up all the credit cards into little bitty pieces. Take out those stocks and enough out of the annuities to pay off your mortgage and your credit cards this week. Be living on a budget where you don't spend more than you make and you never grow any debt back, and travel the world and have a wonderful life. We're so glad you called. Wow, that was easy.
Yeah, good for her having that money set aside.
There it is.
She's going to feel so much better about traveling tomorrow morning.
That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey, it's Ken. If you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.